Today's date is February 28, 2009. The interviewer is Erica Reichert, a volunteer for the Veterans History Project with the Pennsylvania Highlands Community College. The interviewees are Dennis Gimza, a Vietnam-era veteran, and his father, Stanley Gimza, who was in the Army during World War II. The interview is being conducted at the McCullough House in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Dennis, could you tell us about the branch of service that you served in?
I joined the Army in 1967, June. Well, actually, I tried to join in January, I think. But I was only 17. And the recruiter said, go home and wait a couple months till you turn 18. So he let me enlist on the 120-day delay program. So I went down to Pittsburgh, swore in, they gave me my physical. I came back to Johnstown, waited 120 days, took the train back down to Pittsburgh. They gave me the physical again, and they told us to go in this room. They were going to swear us all in again. And I said, I already did this. And the sergeant said, I don't care. Get back in there. You're going to swear in again. Well, okay. So I swore in again. And that was June '67. Took a train down to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Took 8 weeks of basic training in June, July, August. Lost 25 pounds in 8 weeks.
Wow.
Got a problem with fat? The Army will take care of that.
And why did you decide to join?
Because I didn't want to get drafted into the infantry and get my head blown off. So I wanted to sign up for some other kind of military occupational specialty. And it worked. I didn't get my head blown off.
And do you remember the first days in service and what it felt like?
Oh, basic training was a nightmare.
What do you remember most about that?
That's the way they want it to be. You know.
Do you remember your instructors?
Oh yeah. Some of the drill sergeants were really nice. I mean, they were putting us through this ordeal. And the first couple of weeks, they were mean and cruel. This was before all them kids got killed down at that Marine Corps base where they marched them into the swamp and like 8 or 9 of them died. This was before that. And they had the right to beat you up, kick you in the ass, and I mean literally kick you in the ass, get physical. Nowadays, there's no physical brutality like there used to be in the military. But I wonder how good the kids are. I mean, if they're only introduced to physical brutality on the front line, I mean, it's a little late. But the Army knew how to do it because I was with the guys that trained me were World War II and Korea veterans. And they were still running the Army the old-fashioned way, the mean way.
So how did you get through it?
I don't know. I think he told me keep your mouth shut and your nose clean. I guess that's how I did it. The people that protested or shut their mouths off or talked too much, those were the ones I picked on. But if you just endured,
Yeah, I learned that.
no matter how loud they scream at you and the guy's in your face and screaming and yelling, you're just supposed to do nothing, you know? That's what they want. They want to see your reaction. If you lose it and want to protest and assert your individuality, boom, they come down on you.
You know what I always thought? If you kept your mouth shut and do it, I always thought it was just a game. So just join the game and keep your mouth shut.
It is a game. But see, they don't tell you, oh, by the way, this is a game.
Yeah.
But the kids that, I'll tell you, the people that have the hardest trouble in the military are the ones with no home life, no parental discipline,
Yeah. No home life.
no parental upbringing, and they're just wild in the streets. Well, they were drafting kids like that.
Yeah.
And when they got in the military, that was the first time they were ever forced to obey anybody or
Obey.
disciplined. And they're the ones that had the hardest time because they were wild.
Yeah. I noticed that.
But anybody that had some kind of a good father to slap you around now and again, you knew how to get by in the military.
Okay, and which war did you serve in?
What war? Vietnam.
And where exactly did you go?
Okay. After basic training, after AIT, Advanced Individual Training, which was more infantry training, more qualifying with the rifles, more running, more climbing. running, jumping, climbing. Until there's not an ounce of fat left on you. They run you like an animal. They wake you up real early in the morning. And they keep you up till almost dark. And they suck all the fat off you until you're as strong as you're ever going to be. Then they gave us 30 days leave before we went to Vietnam. And I went to Oakland Army Terminal in California. And I think we had to wait there about a week till they did all the paperwork and issued us some equipment and stuff. And then we flew from the Oakland Army Terminal. Oh no, they bussed us from the Oakland Army Terminal up to Travis Air Force Base in California. And we got on them. That was really before jumbo jets. This was 1969. But it was a big, long jet. And I don't know how many guys were on there. 200 guys maybe, on one of them big jumbo jets. Well, it wasn't a double decker, you know what I mean? It was like a long. And we flew from Travis Air Force Base to Anchorage, Alaska. From Anchorage, we flew to Japan. Yokota Air Force Base in Japan. Refueled. And then we flew to Bin La Air Base in Vietnam, which was just outside of Saigon. Not too far, maybe 15 miles, 20 miles outside of Saigon. And I can remember the stewardesses just before they opened the doors to the jet to let us out, they went up and down the aisles with insect spray because they were terrified of malarial mosquitoes coming into the jet. So they filled the jet up with insecticide. And we're all, and we got off the damn airplane before we choked to death from the insecticide. And 200 guys got off, and then 200 guys got back on to go home. They were our replacements. We had to walk right past them, and hey, you know, we were greenies, and these guys were there a year, and you could tell. You could tell they'd been there a year.
And what was your job assignment?
I was assigned to an artillery battery, and our job was to fire artillery shells in support of infantry operations. So all day long and all night long, 24 hours a day, we had 4 giant cannons that were, anybody that was in trouble could call us up, and we fired these artillery shells this big, 250 pounds of high explosives. We would fire them 30 miles. Was the maximum range of our biggest cannon. Some of them, we had 2 8-inch howitzers and 2 175 millimeter howitzers with 30, the barrels were 35 feet long or something. And the 8-inch howitzer, the barrel was like 25 feet long. And that's all we did all day long was blow people up. They called in, somebody was in trouble, they had a fire mission, they gave us the coordinates, and the guns fired 24 hours a day.
Did you see any combat?
I never had to shoot at anybody, and no one shot at me, point blank, no.
Mm-hmm. Were there many casualties in your unit?
No, because you had the guys in the rear with a beer, you had the artillery about halfway out to fire support, and then you had the infantry and special forces way out there. And
Hang on. We'll have to let you.
is it time to eat?
Yeah.
Is it time to eat?
It's 11:30.
Oh
Is that
my God.
lunchtime?
Yeah. You got the bulk of it though.
Most of the smoke and lava went south of the mountain, and Naples was north of the mountain, so we didn't get any dirt or nothing. But there's a town on the bottom of the mountain, the lava buried it.
And what town was that?
I can't remember. No, I can't remember. But anyway, we went down to see it, you know. We took a trip, and we could see the lava flowing over the mountain, over the buildings, and the smoke was real thick. It laid pretty close to the ground, you know. And it was something to see. I'll never forget it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I have pictures of it. But
Okay, I put it on record
And
again.
it erupted, what was that, 43?
44,
And it's never erupted since.
you know.
But the lava wasn't like running like water. It was like creeping.
Yeah.
And it just knocked buildings over. And like slow flowing lava.
So, but I did see the mountain in Sicily, Catania, Mount Etna. It never did stop. It's always flames coming out of it.
That's Europe's only active volcano.
Yeah,
It's always active.
it's always flames coming out of it.
It's like Kilauea in Hawaii, but not, it doesn't have that kind of flow rate. It's,
And the summer too, even.
now and again it'll flood, the place with lava, but it's always smoking.
You mentioned you had some pictures you wanted to look at and talk about. I'll get those for you.
Yeah. You might not have it here.
Oh, you mean the volcano?
Yeah.
They're probably not there. I don't know what's there, but that's probably
No,
not
it's
there.
not in these pictures. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Is there anything in the pictures that you wanted to
How
talk
the
about?
other places?
Yeah.
What are some of the places you have photos of?
I have other pictures, I have it separated, but it's not in this bunch.
How about the ones you do have?
What about them?
What about them?
Yeah, tell us about what's on the pictures
Oh,
and where they were taken.
Here. These are places you were at and things you've seen.
yeah, okay, this is in Paris. I seen the Louvre, you know what the Louvre is?
The museum?
And I seen Notre Dame. What else? The street where the artists meet. There's always somebody painting pictures. I had my picture painted. And what else?
But you were too cheap to buy it though, weren't you? Did you buy the painting?
Yeah,
What happened to it?
I don't know.
Well, I never seen
There's
it.
some pictures of the lava.
Oh, I take it back.
Oh, here's a picture of mine.
So you do have, okay.
Here's another one.
Here's Vesuvius erupting.
Here's
And,
another one.
oh man, yeah, that's dramatic. Here's another picture of Vesuvius erupting. And the lava flows coming down through the streets there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, notice the lava front's about 10 feet high.
Yeah.
That was amazing, man.
And did you take these pictures?
No, some fellow taking them. I never had a camera. There's always somebody else had a camera. There's one fellow had a 8mm movie camera, and he'd taken a lot of pictures. But I never seen them. But
Boy, whoever has those videos.
at that time, film was hard to get, So he was choosy what he was taking.
Same is true for Vietnam because we could never get color prints.
You know?
All we could get was black and white. And I think I had 2 rolls of color film the whole year I was in Vietnam. You couldn't get color film.
It was harder.
Or the guys in the rear had all the color film.
It was harder during World War II,
I bet.
We just coming out of Depression. And a lot of people didn't have anything, It was a hard life during the Depression.
What do you remember about the Depression?
What?
What do you remember about those times?
Depression time. How we had to survive. My father bought us a cow. we had milk, you know, that cow was a good milker, and we had chickens. My dad bought a pig, a little pig, and we raised it all summer. Then we butchered in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
And we went out to, I didn't because I was too small, but my brothers went, with my father went out and picked potatoes. I mean, you had to have to pick 10 bushel of potatoes to get 1 bushel. That's how they didn't pay you in money, they paid you by, you go out and pick apples the same way. You had to pick so many apples and they give you, they would pay you money.
Barter,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
labor for food.
Did any of your other brothers serve?
What?
Were any of your other brothers in the military?
Was any of your other brothers in the military?
No, I was the only one. I was the only one to high school too. The other ones only went to the 8th grade. Yeah,
And what high school did you go to?
East Cornwall. It's Blue Jays now, but Conway had a high school. Franklin had a high school, and I guess that's what
He went to that high school in 1921. I graduated out of the same building in 1967,
Wow.
and then they demolished it.
Where was it located?
In Conemaugh.
Do you remember the street it was on?
I
Or?
don't know. Are you familiar with Conemaugh?
A little bit.
Well, it was just before 271 goes up to Park Hill. And,
Right.
well, if you come to the last light before you go up through the cuts to Park Hill, you hung a right there and went down. It was at the end of that block.
The end of the block.
Yeah. And it was considered a fire hazard and everything. And we were the last class to graduate, 1967.
he turned that
And
right.
they had a merger. Conemaugh and Franklin merged. And all the kids from Conemaugh went over to the old Franklin High School.
Okay.
They demolished the Conemaugh High School.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know, 10 years later, they closed the Franklin High School and it sat there empty for 10 or 15 years, and now they finally demolished it. It was a rat trap.
Mm-hmm.
So, now it's a jointure. I guess everybody around here goes to, East Taylor.
He's there in Blue Jays now.
Conemaugh Valley.
Yeah, Conemaugh Valley.
Conway Valley, right. Yeah. Well, not much more to tell you right now. I can't
Okay.
tell you much more.
Yeah, that's fine. It looks like it's time for lunch.
Hey, there's a lot of places to eat up here.